Hey, oh wow. Welcome back, everybody, to the channel. My name is Maydaysan for the Maydaysan Show, and today we are back on the camera today because I feel comfortable being on it. So. And maybe we'll talk about something more philosophical than usual today. I'm not sure. But just before work starts. So we're gonna talk about something that's kind of been on my mind since yesterday, and it's probably weighing on a lot of you as well. Here, I feel like Dave tripping right now because I'm so calm and collected here on the Maydaysan Talks podcast. Kudos to him. His content is very, very spiritual in nature, and it kind of relaxes me to watch some of his content. I wish that some of my content was like that. That being said, I kind of feel like I'm like the black sheep. I'm like the black sheep of gaijin content creators here in the community because of the type of content I make, parodying, and just pretty much taking the piss out of everyone and everything. And it's kind of funny that there is a small community out there that appreciates what I do, and I'm pretty sure that the big names, we're talking like the big names of the Japan gaijin community and YouTube, probably don't like me, and that's fine. And to be honest, this week, like I said in the podcast, like we didn't really post that much this week because we just haven't been feeling it. We just haven't been feeling it, and for some reason, I feel like putting my mic on today and actually using my good microphone, which is really rare for me because I don't really use this thing anymore because it's kind of a pain in the ass. But I thought I'd do it today. But that being said, I kind of want to talk about today as spring is passing and life is ticking us by, and some of us are approaching 30 years old, such as myself. Let's go get my coffee here. And it's the fact that a lot of people come here when they're like 22, 23 or something like that. And they come here to teach English. And I remember the first time I ever went to a bar by myself, and I met up with another expat who's a fellow Canadian. And he told me I remember when I came here, I wasted my time teaching English and I hated it. And now I build cars for the military and I'm nice and I bought my own house in cash. I was like, that's great, man. That's cool. And at the time, I didn't really think of much of it. And for maybe last year or so, or for like the past 2 years after that, there's always this constant pressure you get from other gaijin, and surprisingly not from Japanese people, that you got to get out of English teaching and you have to graduate it. You have to graduate from English teaching in order to not feel like you're wasting your time here. And you'll get that kind of criticism from your parents back home, your family back home, your friends back home, your fellow expats over here, and maybe from Japanese people. I've never actually heard of a Japanese person actually kind of criticizing our jobs here as English teachers or dancing monkeys, rather. But you actually only hear that from the jaded expats. And I had my fair share of that, of just having to get out of the English game to kind of move up in the world and kind of show that I'm actually taking my life seriously. Because if you're teaching English, you're getting paid like crap and you're not actually making an impact on anything, because there's really no requirements to get an English teaching job here other than to just breathe, not be a creep, and have enough money to survive. Right? And I fell into that trap of feeling this obligation of social acceptance and trying to prove to the world or prove to my friends and peers that I needed to be something more than an English teacher if I wanted to show that I'm doing something with my life. And there's also the other argument of that. I was like, yes, be an English teacher while working on your passion. And even with that, you still feel like, you're still wasting time because you're not seeing the amount of gains that you want to be seeing in such a short time frame. And it feels amplified here because Gary Vee and stuff always talk about patience, like, we got to get this done in the next, people are talking about, we got to get this done in the next 2 years at least. Meanwhile, you're supposed to be playing long-term game if you want to, start making a career for yourself. Talking about 4 or 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, right? But for some reason in Japan, and being in the eyes of other gaijin, And also the pressure of turning 30, especially here in Japan, is very, very amplified. So you feel that pressure. It's like, oh, here goes another year has gone by and I haven't moved on and I'm still doing the same thing. Sure, you're seeing gains and stuff like that, but I had nothing financially to back it up. I can't move into a house. I can't buy new things. I'm still living in the same box. My money doesn't go up. That's one of the things that's bad about English teaching. And then, some people say like, hey, then you'll go get the qualifications. But for most of us here, we're not, like, as much as we might enjoy English teaching or whatever, it's not like I came here to become a teacher. There's a lot of us, which may or may not include myself, which might be, hey, I'm here to just get the paycheck. I get to live on my own and I get to have my life while doing whatever and going out and doing whatever. And for some people, that's enough, right? But even for those people, there are still pressures coming from all fronts saying like, hey, what are you going to do with it? Like, people don't treat English teaching or this job as a real career because in reality, it's not the traditional career path that many are used to. A job that has raises and bonuses and stuff like that, and you can eventually get up and become something other than staying in the same spot. It's a dead-end job, which it is. And for some people, that's fine. You can just stay there. But for other people who succumb to social pressures, it's not. And you start to feel this pressure, and then you start to get stressed. And then very, very oftentimes, especially around April, when people start to get new jobs, you feel it really hard. It's like, damn, I haven't graduated yet from the English teacher vibe. And you'll see that a lot. You just got to get out of here. You got to get out of English teaching, man. You got to get out of English teaching. You got to get out. You got to get out. And then that kind of begs the question is like, do you need to get out? Do you want to get out? Should you just go home and reset back home and say, hey, I'm done playing around. I'm here to live my life the proper way now. And is that the right thing? Is that the right thing to do? And for most of us, it feels like, it is a waste of time, right? And we feel like we should be trying to become a better person and become something in the eyes of society. And I think that's a lot of pressure for a lot of us. And you're going to start to get depressed about it and be like, shit, I got to get out. I got to do something in my life, even if you are already content. And I kind of want to bring my story into this where it's like I had a good, very, very good Interac position as an ALT. I had a great school, great comrades, had a lot of time off, and I had a part-time job too, and I was kind of working a little bit harder and just to make ends meet. And, I was kind of struggling, but I was pretty content. And then that contentness kind of got me comfortable, and I was like, yeah, I don't think I even need to leave this. But then the opportunity kind of struck, and I took the opportunity by the sheer pressure of I need to move up and graduate in my life. To kind of tell people like, I'm not wasting my time anymore, guys. I'm not wasting my time anymore. I'm actually making something of myself that's actually making money for me and blah, blah, blah. And I could actually do things. Then I got there, and then, it was probably mentally, spiritually, one of the worst experiences I've ever had in my life. I did not enjoy it at all. And I just, everything was great. I loathed going to work, and it was an awful experience for me. Whether the job was bad or not, it wasn't a bad job. It just wasn't a job for me. And I started to feel really, really bad about it. So then I left it almost immediately, and I went back to the English teacher job because, I had to swallow my pride and be like, I got to go back to base and rethink myself and kind of work and focus on what I want to do and stuff. And the fact that I even had to swallow that kind of pride in order to go back to a job that was fine for me in the first place kind of strikes a problem with me. It's like, why is there such that stigma around it? Why do we have to live by such traditional thinking, right? And then I kind of just realized like, I'm going to be living that alternate timeline, bro. I'm an alternate timeline guy. And I don't think I'm going to be able to live that life that people want me to. So I took that step back in order to make steps forward, especially here on the channel. And I think it was a good decision for me. But even then, saying that now, even the coming weeks and during quarantine, I'm still thinking like, I'm almost 30, dude. I gotta get my shit together. I gotta start living my life, and I gotta start getting a real job. Especially when you see your friends, like your close friends, start to get real jobs and start to graduate from the English teacher school, and you feel like you're left behind. And that kind of pressure kind of, your insecurities and stuff will magnify that here, because it is really, really hard to get out of English teaching and find a really good job and not just any sales job or something like that. And that's kind of what I want you guys to think about when you're coming and staying in Japan, that you have to know what you want to do when you're coming here. Are you coming here to escape? Like, let's be honest. Are you coming here to escape the problems of your homeland, whether it be not getting a job, not liking your family or whatever, and coming here as a tool of escapism, right? Or are you coming here to literally just have some fun for a year and then go back home and do what you got to do, right? And I feel like if you're the former, you really got to have some sort of plan, but at least by year 1 or year 2. Because that pressure, if you're bringing those insecurities over here, it's just going to amplify even more, and you're not going to be able to escape from it. And you actually feel that pressure even more, not only from the people back home, but the people around you and the environment around you. And you'll see like how much of a disadvantage you are if you come here with no high skills at all. I'm fortunate enough to have technical skills that can help me do things that I want to do professionally. Whether or not professionally that'll be accepted in the world professionally, probably not, which also weighs down on me as well. So just be prepared for this constant battle between you, your peers, and society about whether or not you're wasting your time and if you are making the right decisions and if you are on the right path. But at the end of the day, you really have to focus on what makes you happy. What really makes you happy. And even if you get out of the English teaching job and you find something that's great for you and you like it, then that's great. But don't take just anything to get out of the English teaching job. Because honestly, your happiness is worth more than any paycheck or any social approval could ever give you. And that's all I got to say today in the Maydaysan show. Thanks for coming out. It's your boy Jay-Z, and see you guys later. Bye-bye.